My name is David.
All right, Dave. What do you drive?
This is a 2021 BMW M4.
What made you get the BMW M4?
I had the previous generation and I loved that car. It was, I mean, it was everything I wanted. It was luxury. It was a twin turbo inline six. It just had a crank hub issue that S55s suffer from, and once I addressed it. It was about a $3,000 fix, and the car was able to make great power, but it was still limited to what I wanted. So once the S58 came out, which is a new motor, it's like a S55 on steroids. It's a forged internals, no more crank hub issue, so the car should be good to make around 800 wheel safely. I'd say maybe even more on let's say stock turbos. Hopefully on stock turbos. 750, which is power.
't all right. So you're basically into modding the cars for more power.
Yes, 100%.
All right.
And at the same time, I want my luxury, and it's the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. So take me through a list of the cars you've owned so far.
Oh man. Well, I started with a 328 when I was 17. Then a Lexus. I started on like some just daily driving.
What Lexus?
It was an IS 250.
Okay.
Then I got into, I guess, the boost life. I had an Evo 10.
Nice.
It was a black Evo. I started just modding it slowly. Intakes, a test pipe, tune on pump gas. I blew that car on pump gas. I built it. I kind of blew it again, sort of. I got rid of it. I got another white Evo. That one was black. I changed it for a white one. Then I went balls out on this one. I built it again. I blew it again. I was done with Evos. After the Evos,
what did you do different from the white one to the black one?
I just went with different parts, a different tuner. I was a little more experienced in the modding life. But they were just making about 350 wheel, 340 wheel, which at the time was fast, but it's nothing compared to the numbers cars make nowadays. So
gotcha. All right,
I was a lot younger, so it was fine with me,
After the Evos, what did you get?
Then I had a GTR. After the Evo, I got into a GTR. The GTR was fun, but again, it's very restricted. The transmission will not hold over, like, let's say 650 pound-feet of torque. You got to build the trans. To build the trans is 15,000-20,000. Then if you want to make over 800 wheel on the motor, you got to build it. And just to go full bolt-ons is 15,000-20,000. So it's a car that if you want to make good power, you got to really dump 40,000-50,000 into it.
Okay.
And I mean, at that point, to me, it wasn't worth it to drop 50,000 into a Nissan.
Okay.
So just in mods.
Yeah, sure.
So that's when I jumped into the M4, and I made the same power on the M4 with just the tuned downpipes on the 85. Literally, I didn't even do injectors.
What year M4?
It was a 2017.
Okay.
White M4. I did do the crank hub, so full bolt-ons in the crank hub. It ran me about $4,000 or $5,000, and I was making over 600 wheel horsepower.
Wow.
Safely, without having to build a motor, without having to change the turbos, without having to do the trans. And I mean, I was very happy with that car.
So what led you to this M4?
And then this M4 dropped. At first I hated it. I hated the grill.
The grill is very polarizing.
Yeah, I hated the grill. I was not for it. But then I started looking into the new motor, the S58, the new transmission, and the car itself. And little by little, the grill started growing on me. And it must have been about 2 months. I put my car up for sale. I needed the new car. So as soon as I put it up for sale, it sold pretty quick actually. I parted it out, I sold it, and I ordered the new one. and it was the longest wait I ever had to do.
How long did you actually wait?
I waited like 2 months, but it felt like 2
forever.
years. I was just, oh my God, every day I was just calling BMW for an update, and I was following the tracker because they give us a tracker on the phone, and then you track it when it's in the paint booth, when it's getting assembled, when it's ready for delivery, when it's on the ship. But it felt like forever. But I mean, it was worth the wait.
So give me the rundown as of since you've gotten this car. Give me some pros and give me some cons.
So the pros are pretty much what I spoke about. The new motor is amazing. The S58 is great. They really redesigned the entire interior. That is one thing I had a little bit of. It was like a drawback on the F82 M4, the previous gen.
Mm-hmm.
The interior wasn't as luxury.
This is amazing interior.
Yeah, we didn't have these lights. We didn't have buckets like this. We didn't have these color options in the seats. Carbon fiber on the steering everywhere. So it was that was kind of a con in that car. And now, I mean, they really stepped their game up. But a con in this car, I haven't found one yet, honestly. I haven't. Some say this is a 6-speed. Some say that the clutch is a little too, I guess, rubbery, or I don't know.
Not many cons.
I don't dislike the clutch or the gears, but I don't really have a con, not yet.
So, what made you get a manual car, a 6-speed?
I've always loved 6 speeds. The GTR was a DCT, obviously, and I mean, it doesn't get better than DCT when it comes to shifting. The DCT is great, but after a while, it's just the same thing over and over. And the GTR, especially being all-wheel drive, it really does everything for you. It actually shifts faster when you don't shift it yourself. So when I used to launch it, I would just leave it on automatic, not even on manual mode, and the car would shift perfectly. So I just had to hold on for dear life, and the car would just take off. And I mean, after a while, it's just like, am I really, you're not banging gears, you're not really doing much. So the car does all the work. And then the F82, I bought it used, and I was looking for a six speed, but I couldn't find a good condition 6-speed. They were all beat on. So I found a clean DCT. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go into the DCT for now. And I was able to order this car, like I said, from factory. So I mean, there was no doubt in my mind that I wanted a 6-speed.
You wanted to roll your own gears.
That's exactly.
Awesome. So you've taken this to the track. Are you frequent the track, or is that something you look for in the future?
I never took the other M4 to the track, just because my buddies were never really down, and I didn't really have too many guys to go to the track with. Nobody really has a race car. Now I'm meeting a few guys that do, and we should be able to have a nice rest of the summer and maybe some of the winter. But yeah, I took this to the track once. I ran a 12.2 best time, which I'm not too proud of. I'm trying to get into the 11s. The car is bone stock, so if I could run 11.8, 11.9, 11.7 on a 6-speed stock M4, I'll be pretty happy, because
it's awesome.
Because after that, once I'm modded, and I will go fully 85.
Well, yeah. What are your future plans for this?
Well, just for starters, I definitely, once mods start rolling out, once they crack the ECU, I will go full bolt-on Z85, just like everybody else. And then I'll go with turbos, maybe pure turbos. And then we'll see. We'll see where the limits are on the car. We'll see when people start breaking stuff, and I'll start addressing that. And but I definitely, I don't really have a limit yet. I mean, we'll see. We'll see where we go.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dave, for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time in the M4.
Anytime.
What a machine.
Thank you, thank you.
Good luck in the future. I'm hoping, I'm sure we'll have a ton of video on the channel
Yes,
of
sir.
you
Yes, sir.
in the near future.
Yes, sir.